In today's video, I'm going to talk about what I've been sowing in February. So it's a rainy mid-February morning, and I thought I'd take the opportunity to show you what I've started sowing for February. Now, first talk about our little propagator. So this is our little propagator. I made it out of a IKEA shelving unit, and I put some polycarbonate sheeting on there. And then we've got in here, we've got a 3 shelves. Each one of the shelves has got these LED strips in there which we can control. And these bottom 2 have got just a heat mat under there, which is temperature controlled with the little temperature probes. Well, I always sow in these little boxes that are down here. So I'll show you these. So these are the little trays that I use, and you can get a 12 little bits in there, and there's also you put the water in the bottom. Now I'm just using a combination of sieved multi-purpose compost and a bit of vermiculite mixed together. No particular great strange recipe for these. And these are the onions. So what we've been sowing so far is we're hanging off on the tomatoes and cucumbers until the beginning of March, because our last frost date is about the it's sort of the last week of April from where I live. So I want to count it back about 6 weeks from there. That's probably about middle of March. So we're probably putting the tomatoes and the cucumbers in middle of March. Previous year I've actually done it earlier, and I've just ended up with really leggy tomato and cucumber plants filling the house up before they're ready to go out. So we're just leaving it a little bit later. But here's what we have been sowing. So down on the bottom shelf here, we've got some aubergines. We've got our sweet and hot peppers. So in these trays we've sort of like planted up 3 of each variety, and we'll just keep the best 2. We've put a couple of seeds in each, and we'll thin those out. We've also got some leeks going in there, and some exhibition onions. So hoping to grow some really big onions this year. So these are the exhibition onions down here. So the thinking on here is the peppers and the aubergines need quite a long time to actually grow throughout the season. So we're just getting those started off now, so they get a nice long growing season, and we'll pop those on and keep those indoors until it warms up a bit and we can go in the greenhouse. There's some other things like onions and leeks. Now they're in here really just to get germinated. As soon as they've been germinated, and they're germinated and they're up and they're sort of a little bit higher, you know, a couple of inches high, we'll transfer those into the greenhouse down at the allotment. Now they won't mind the cold. They'll be fine with it. They just need a little bit of heat to get them going. On the second shelf here, we've got a load of little pots with some sweet peas in there. Again, they're in here to get germinated. Once they've sprouted up, they won't mind it unless it gets really cold in the greenhouse, so they'll carry on growing. If we leave them indoors, some of these things, it'll be too hot for them, and they'll just bolt. So as soon as they've germinated and they're up, they'll be transferred down to the greenhouse. And if necessary, we could put the little heater on in the greenhouse just to actually get those doing. And then finally, up at the top here, these are our little pak choy. Now, we're growing a few of these pak choy, and we're going to put those into the polytunnel down at the allotment. Now, pak choy are pretty good. They can be pretty winter resistant. So we're really just getting those germinated off here, and then once they've grown up a little bit higher, we'll thin them out, because we put about 3 or 4 or 5 seeds in each one of those little pots. So we'll get those thinned out. As you can see on here, they're like sort of all growing nicely there. So we'll get those thinned out and planted into the central bed. And in the central bed, we're going to actually have a hoop cover over that, just to keep a little bit of the heat in and protect them from some of the frost. And they should carry on doing that. And we've also got a few lamb lettuce down there as well, which we're going to try and put in that middle bed as well. And hopefully they won't they'll survive any odd cold snaps. So this is my particular propagator. We've also got, you might be able to see over here, we've got, we mount, so this is just a shelving unit from IKEA. Put some polycarbonate sheets on there and a few hinges. We've also got some computer fans mounted in here, and with a little dial up here, you can see that we can actually increase this from anything from a off to a tornado. Let me switch that around so I can show you. So these are the little computer fans, and then we've got just they're variable speed fans, and we could just sort of turn this little dial, and we can have anything from a light breeze to a full scale wind tunnel in there. We don't need it on at the moment. So when we've got the plants that are a bit bigger, we put those on. And as I say, up the top here, we've just got our 2 temperature controllers. We've both got those set to around 21, 22 degrees for propagating. And then at the side here, we've got our 3 sets of lights. Let's put those other lights on so you can see a bit better. So that's those lights. And that's those lights. So they'll carry on growing. And as I can see, these onions, if you look down here, just starting to come through. Let's have a look, see what we've got in here. These are the leeks, no sign of those, but we're not expecting anything yet really from those. Nothing much from the peppers as yet. So I've checked the other peppers. Again, you can see the varieties there on the labels. As I say, they've been in about 3 or 4 days, so not expecting anything to crop up in there as yet. And this is the little lamb lettuce that are still waiting to pop themselves through. And again, these are our 4 different varieties of sweet peas that we've got growing, and we're still waiting for them to show themselves. But the pak choi is up and raring to go, so be a couple of days and we'll get that all potted on. So that's an update on what I've been sowing. So we've got the pak choi and the lamb's lettuce, the onions and the leeks are in, and sweet peas, and then our hot and sweet peppers. That's all we'll be doing for now. We'll be waiting until the first week, probably the end of the first week of March, before we start going on our tomatoes and cucumbers. And I think this year we've got 13 or 14 varieties of tomato and probably about 5 or 6 varieties of cucumber. Will join me again when we do that. And if you want some more updates from the plot, the next video we'll be doing is a update on the new plot and the old plot, and just bringing you all up to speed, because there's lots of stuff that's been changing and happening down there. So we'll be doing that, and then the following video I'm planning to do a video about the temperature sensors that we've got around in the greenhouse and the polytunnel, and we're going to see just how hot and how cold it gets in those greenhouses and polytunnels when the outside temperature drops below freezing and when the sun's out. So if you want to see those, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.